you to join us on this Tuesday, October 1st. Coming up, a fuzzy future for the Nissan Rogue Sport. But first, a look at your headlines. And we'll begin with Ford. The automaker will transfer most of its assets in India to a joint venture with Mahindra and Mahindra. As we reported last week, the Indian automaker will own 51% of the new entity. Ford will get equal voting rights and board representation. The JV is expected to introduce 3 new utility vehicles under the Ford brand, starting with a new mid-size utility that will have a common Mahindra product platform and powertrain. Another area of focus will be electric vehicles. The JV is valued at $275 million and is expected to be operational by mid-2020. Ford and other automakers have had a tough time making inroads in India. The world's 4th largest automobile market is dominated by Suzuki's less expensive, fuel-efficient vehicles. Former UAW official Jeffrey Petrick is expected to plead guilty in federal court on October 22nd. That's according to a U.S. Department of Justice spokeswoman. Petrick is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. He is the 11th person charged in the corruption investigation tied to the UAW. He was an assistant to former UAW General Motors Vice President Joe Ashton. Prosecutors contend Petrick conspired with other union officials to take bribes and kickbacks related to vendor contracts for watches, backpacks, jackets, and other items. Nissan has pulled the wraps off a full electric pint-sized city concept car. Japan's #2 automaker says it will showcase the IMK at this month's Tokyo Motor Show. The concept has the automaker's latest electrification and autonomous driving technologies. Those include a self-parking feature where passengers get out at their destination and the car finds an open parking space by itself.
Oh my God.
Speaking of cars driving themselves, that's a Tesla owner using the Smart Summon feature on his Model 3. The feature allows users to direct a vehicle to drive itself to the owner's location. He was one of several users posting mishaps with the feature. It was part of a software update recently released by Tesla. But not all was bad. This owner posted a video of their Model 3 coming to the rescue in a thunderstorm. Tesla did not respond to a request for comment. And most car makers will be reporting September U.S. sales figures today. Analysts expect a hefty drop. Ford and General Motors will issue their quarterly results tomorrow. Fiat Chrysler may release then too. Keep glued to Autonews.com for the latest. Just 2 years ago, Nissan introduced the Rogue Sport, a variant of the popular Rogue.
The small crossover popularity is only going to grow, which is why this new 2017 Rogue Sport is such a natural extension of our SUV lineup.
But as our Urvaj Kakaria reports, Nissan is considering phasing out the vehicle. Some dealers say the Rogue Sport is getting lost between the bigger Rogue and smaller entry-level Kicks. Nissan has marketed the Rogue Sport as an alternative to the Rogue, but shoppers might fail to grasp the distinction. The company did acknowledge that concern during a preview in Detroit in January 2017.
Now, you could ask yourself, well, won't it be confusing to consumers? 2 cars that look quite similar in size and name. Will it be confusing to consumers? We don't think so. Why? We'll separate themselves primarily based on customer need.
Nissan declined to comment on the Rogue Sport's future, but says the model remains an important part of its crossover lineup. While the company has updated the 2020 model's interior and added more technology features, competition is tough within the family. For example, the Kicks offers slightly better fuel economy and more interior space than the Rogue Sport for $3,500 less. Urvash says the deliberations take place as Nissan looks to trim at least 10% of its product offerings by March 31st, 2022. We'll end with a first shift flashback. 111 years ago today, Ford introduced the Model T. That wraps up today's newscast. Remember, Auto News Now comes your way this afternoon. Take care.